So in this class, I'm going to show you how to create an IAM user, which is a privileged user that has limited capacity or limited privilege compared to the root user. So for you to create an IAM user, the first thing that you want to do is either locate from here, you can search for IAM, which is called Identity and Access Management. Then you can click on it. So I'm going to move this to this side. So we have our IAM. This is our IAM. So the place that you want to go is this access management. Under IAM, we have access management and access reports. So it is under the access management that we want to currently work on now. So the first thing that you want to do is to go to the user, then create a user. So this user, you can give it any name you want, but in real life scenario, it's always good to use the email address of the person that is going to be using the access. So let's say it is me, Yemi, that want to use the access. I can say Yemi at TheCornelis.com. Make sure it is official. Don't go and put Gmail there. So, but for this purpose, I'm just going to say admin. And then you check this box if you want the admin to be able to connect to the console. There are times that you don't want anybody in your organization to actually be able to log into the console. The company might want them to like do everything using the infrastructure as code, and they don't want to give access to the console. But for this case, I will give myself access to the console. And once I'm giving myself access to the console, there are two means of creating IAM user. We are only going to go with this one, which is I want to create an IAM user for now. In future class, I will show you how to actually use this, creating an IAM user using Identity Center, which is the recommended one and is an advanced one as well. But for now, we are good with creating an IAM user with the second option. Then the user need a password. So you can either auto generate a password or you can create a custom password. So I'm also going to create a custom password, which is just going to be very simple. And I'm going to click on. So I'm going to uncheck this because I don't want to change the password. In an ideal situation, when you create a password for someone, let's say you are an admin, you manage the AWS account, and you create a password for somebody, the best option is to let the person change their password when they log in for the first time. But because I'm the owner of the account, I'm going to be using this account and I don't want to change the password, I'll just uncheck this box that, okay, I don't want to change the password when I log in for the first time. So I'm going to click on next. I'm going to save this so that I won't forget it. Now, the next stage is to give permission. The permission that you want the person or whatever thing that you want the person to be able to do this is where you are going to select it. Unlike the root admin or the root user that has all the permission, like once you create the root user, automatically it has access to everything on your AWS account. But this IAM user, you can limit or you can select the specific resources or services that you want this person to be able to access. So I'm going to go to attach policy directly. So these are the policies that has already been configured by AWS. And there are some of them that I also configure myself. So you too, you can configure a specific policy. But for this purpose, for the purpose of simplicity and just for being the first time, I would just want us to go with the already existing policy. So we are not going to create our own policy in this video. When we get to IAM as a topic, because we are still going to do IAM as a topic, then I will show you how to actually create your own policy. But for now, let's go with already existing policy called management, AWS managed policy. You can have managed policy, or we have managed policy, which is AWS managed policy, or customer managed policy. If you can see here, this is AWS managed policy, and all of these are AWS managed policy. But if you see here, you say customer managed policy, which means I'm the one that actually created this. And there are some policies that are job functions specifically. But what we want to pick this time around is this administrator access. This administrator access, it has almost the same access as the root user. It has almost the same access as the root user, except some few access that it doesn't have. For example, it do not have access to close the account. Only the root user can close the account. It do not have access to some key features. Only the root user can do those ones. But the major thing for us now is just to be able to do everything, but we don't want to be doing them with the root user. So the best option, or the next option close to the root user, is this is this administrator access. So I'm going to click on next. That's the only thing you need to select. Then click on create. So now we have our login details. So the best option is for you to download it so that you have access to it later. But what I will just do it here, I will just copy this. So if you want to, if you create an access for somebody, these are the information you are going to send the person. You can either send the instruction through email, or you just copy all this information and send to the person. You're going to give them the URL where they are going to log in from. So I'm going to open another browser. I'm going to put the URL here. When I press enter, it's going to request for some login detail. It's like, it puts in the account number. Then it asks me what is the IAM username. If you remember, we have our IAM username here. I'm going to click on that and put that here. Then it asks for the password. So I'm also going to put in the password, which is it said my password is not correct. Let me see. I think I put if that's not correct. Let me go and check it. Give me 1 second. I'll take this off the screen, then bring it back. Just 1 second. Just copy it. Okay, so let me go back to the login details. I'll just paste it here. I'll copy the password. Okay, I think it's this one that is not correct. Let me confirm that. Yeah, that is correct. I might just copy it as well. Paste. Yeah, that's correct. So I just put, now it's login. It's my password that was wrong before. So now I'll just update this. So now I'm now connected to the AWS account, but not as root user, but as IAM user. You can see it here. It say admin at then the IP address. But if you go to the second one, it just say the name of the account. But in this one here, where I log in as IAM user, it said admin at then their account number name. So those are the different. So now anything I'm doing here now, I'm doing it, it's going to be carrying out the admin name, that is the admin that performed this task. But if the root user performed the same task, it's just going to say it's just going to say the root user. So those are the two things. So here now, I will just say return to user list. So now, and you can see here, we have our user. Another thing that I actually quickly want to create for this user, or I may not do it now, I may do it in another video, is to also create an access key. Access key for this user, should in case the user wants to be able to like access AWS account without the console. Maybe you want to do CLI. Then if you want to access your AWS account using CLI, then your password will not be usable in that regard. So you need access key. So to get the access key, go back to the same user, select the user, click on open. Then you see this security credential. Click on it. When you scroll down, you see access key is 0. So you can click on here, create access key, then it's going to create access key for the root user, but I'm going to put that in a different video. So let's just proceed with this IAM user. So we have our IAM user now. So it is the IAM user that we're going to use to create our EC2. So if you want to create an EC2, go back to EC2. Okay, this is the root user. So I'm going to log out from this root user. I'm not going to use it again. I want to start using my IAM user, which is the admin. So I'm logging out from here. Then I'll be using this instead. So for me to create an EC2, it's still the same process of creating an EC2. Just click here or search for EC2 from here. So I'm going to be clicking the recent visits. So this is my EC2. The first thing, I want to create a key pair. We already have a key pair. You can see we have one key pair already. So do we have a security groups? Let me see. Yeah, we have the last security group that we created. Let me see. Okay, let me just quickly create a new security group. I'm just going to call this one test security group. And it's going to give access, allow access to HTTP, HTTPS, and SSH. Those are the three things that I want to allow access to. And make sure that you select the right VPC. So I'm picking the default VPC. Then the inbound routes. Remember here we say these are the port that I want to allow access to. So I'm going to select this. So same port here, HTTP, which is port 80. And I'm going to go with the custom. And here I'm just going to select 0.0.0.0/0. This simply means that anybody can connect to the security group using port 80, which is browser, or using browser and from anywhere. And they can also connect using secure browser, which is HTTPS from anywhere as well. And they can also connect to the security group using SSH from anywhere. The best option for SSH is to limit it to your own IP address alone. So if you want to select your IP address, just click on my IP address and it's going to show your IP address. But for now, I don't want to expose my IP address, so I'm not going to select it. Then I'm going to click on create a security group. So we have our key and we have the security group. So now let's go and spin up the instance. So to spin up the instance, see under the EC2 page, click on instance. And these are my already existing instance. So I'm going to click a new one, create a new one. Just give it, I'm going to call it this time around web server. I'm going to call it web server. And if you want to do it, you can actually specify which web server it is. I'm going to call it my coffee, because the application that I want to deploy is the coffee application. Coffee web server. I want to use the other time we use Amazon Linux 2. I'll still use Amazon Linux 2 for simplicity, but anytime next or sometime or next time that we want to create another server, I will actually create a Windows server. So I'm using Amazon Linux 2. Then the instance type, we talked about instance type the other day. So I'm going to go with the smallest one, that is free tier eligible. The security key or the key pair is going to be the key that we created. For the networking, I'm going to edit this networking. I'm going to make sure that I'm on default network, default VPC. Then the subnet, if you want to select the specific availability zone, then you have to select the subnet that is in that availability zone. So I'm picking availability zone 1A. I want to automatically have public IP address because I want to be able to connect to this instance from the internet. Then here, I'm going to select the security group that we created. So it's called the test security group. For the advanced networking, you don't really need to do anything there. But if you want to select a specific IP address for this instance, then you have to open the advanced network and you have to put the IP address here. If it is private IP address, which is the premier IP address, is here. They're going to put that. Then you can have multiple IP address. You can add the secondary IP address here. So, but I'm going to close it. We don't need that for now. For the storage, I can change the storage to like, okay, I need 12 gig and I need the storage type to be GP3 instead of GP2. GP3 is general purpose 3 and GP2 is general purpose 2. The difference between them is just versioning. General purpose 2 is old version, while general purpose 3 is new version. And general purpose 3 is more cheaper than general purpose 2. And it has some more features than general purpose 2. So I'll go with general purpose 3. Then for the admin, for the advanced setting, advanced detail, we can just leave everything the way it is for now. We're going to be configuring some of them later down the class. So I'm going to create. We only need, okay, let me create 2 because, so I need 2 of this instance. I need to because there is something I want to explain down the line, which I'm going to show you. But in this first video, we are going to create 1. If you are watching this video and you only need 1 instance, just change that to 1 or don't change it at all from 1. But because I want to create another instance down the line, so that's why I created 2 so that I don't use that to waste our time again. All right. But the disadvantages of that is that the 2 instance, we have the same configuration and the same tag name. So I can change this to something else. Change this to tag coffee server 2, and the first one is going to be coffee server 1. But every other thing, they are the same. You can see they are both in the same region, in the same availability zone. And though they're going to have a different IP address, they are going to use security groups, same key, and everything they are going to use the same. So the instance is working. So we're going to if you have an instance created and you are not using it, the best option is to turn it off. So for now, I'm going to turn this server 2. I'm going to turn it off by stopping it because I don't really need it now. So you can see it goes to stopping. So the only server 1 is what we are going to be working with. So what we want to do with this server 1 is to deploy our application on this server 1. So I'm going to open it and connect to this application. So the way I want to connect to this application, just the way we connect to it the other time, is click on connect, and you're going to copy the SSH clients. So this is the whole thing that I want to copy. But before we actually connect, I'm going to, 1 second, quick. Let me close all the tab that I opened. So when you want to connect, you can open any of the terminal that you have. Preferable, I prefer the VS Code. So when you're connecting with the VS Code, make sure that you are on the download folder, because that is where your access key, your key pair was downloaded. So I'm going to make sure I'm there. If you are not there, just run this command, cd, then you put cd / then type download folder. If you have moved your download, if you have moved the key to another location, or download folder is not your default download location, then you have to select wherever the key pair was downloaded to. Let's say, for example, when you created the key, you move it to your desktop, or you create a folder and move it in. That is the name of the folder is what we're going to be typing here. If I have moved it to my desktop, I'll just say cedar desktop, but it is actually downloaded to my download folder. So that's why I'm clicking download. And immediately it's going to say, okay, you are currently on the download folder. So I'm going to clear this. Now, if I can search for the key by doing ls. This is going to list everything that I have in my download folder, but I can now do and pass those things by doing grep, then I'm going to type the name of my key. So you can see it bring it out. You just say, hey, you have this key there. So that tells me that, okay, the key is in my download folder. If it's not there, it will not bring anything. So if you also type training, then it's going to show you everything that has training in your download folder. So you can see this is my key pair. But this is just for you to make sure that you actually have the key in your download folder. Now, how do we connect? Well, to connect, the first thing, if you create the key for the first time, you need to run this command. Change mode 400, then the name of the key. The name of the key, my key is called training key.pem. So what this is going to do is going to limit the file permission to execute. So, but don't bother about that for now. Just run this command. If you create a new key, before you use that key, you must run this command. That will not show anything. It will just like, okay, the command permission has been changed. Then the next thing is to go back to this, copy the whole entire of this command and paste it here. Then you can remove this and remove this. Then press enter. It's going to ask you, are you sure you want to connect? Just say yes. Now it has connected. So anything I'm doing now is on this server. It's going to be on this server that I just created. It's going to be on this server. You can check that, because if you look at this public IP address of this server is 3.94.553.234, and the private IP is this. So on that server, if you run config IP config, that is not working. IAF config. Yeah, if you see IF config, it's telling you this IF config will show the IP address of the server that you are currently working on. And if you see, it's showing me here that the IP is this, which is our private IP address. And that is the one that we actually want. So this is just to tell us that we're actually working on the server that we created. So we can type clear to clear the message. So how do we put our web application? How do we put our web server on this? So the site that I said I want to show you where you can get the web server from is this site here. If you go to free CSS, the first one here, freecss.com, you can see different websites, and these are free. You can go to the free version, and all of these are free websites. So the website that I want to use, I think is on number 7. You can use any one of them. Let me see, number 5. It's actually a coffee website. Okay, here, this one, because I just like it. So you can view the live demo to see how the website is going to look like. So this is how the website look like. It's just a basic website, but there are a lot of websites that are not as beautiful as this. So if you have a coffee and you want to create a website, you can just download this. And if you have a coffee business and you need a website, so you can just download this and just modify it. So that means you have a coffee website business. Let me go back. Yeah, this one. View again, so you can see this is the website. So this is what we want to deploy on our server. So the first option, or you have two options, how to get this on your web server. The first option, you can download it to your system, to your laptop. Or another means is you right click and you copy the link address. If you download it, it's going to be downloaded to your download folder. Then from there, you can copy it and send it to your server. But if you just want to download it directly on your server, then you're going to copy the link address, and I'm going to show you the rest. So now that we've copied the link address, go to your server. There are some commands that you need to run when you create a new server. The first command is that we want to update the server to make sure that all the software that are running on the server are up to date. So to do that, you're going to do sudo yum install updates -y. You said no package update available, meaning that it is up to date. That is a good news. And error, nothing to do. That's a good news. Then the second thing, we need to download some packages that we need that they might not be on this server. Example, one of the first of the package is we need a package called core. I can just check that core-v, or let me check core-v version. Okay, it said there is core there. The purpose for this core is the one that we are going to use to download this site on the web server. So if I do core, let me first do ls and see there is nothing. It's not giving me anything, meaning that there is no file or folder on the home directory of this machine. So if I do core, then paste the link that I copied in front of the core and press enter, it gives me some warning. It said, warning, binary outputs can mess up your terminal. Use dash output to tell core. There's no need for that. I'm okay. I'm just going to say core. Let me see. Core-v. It's just to get some information. Can warning. Okay, ls, it has not downloaded. So I'm just going to do, let me do sudo I don't believe that sudo the core does not need sudo because I just want to download a package. So let me do install. Let me try to install, possibly the core is not an updated version. So I'm going to install core. Then I'm also going to install unzip because I want to be able to, when you download the folder on our desktop, it's going to come as a zip file. So I want to be able to unzip it. That's why I'm downloading a software that I will be using for unzip. Then that is yum install core. Then I also want to install updates. I also want to install unzip. I don't want it to ask me any permission. I'm just going to say continue. Okay, so I need to perform this command as root. So I don't need to change to root user. I'll just put sudo. Then we're like, okay, both of them, you can see core is already installed. Unzip is also already installed. So I can do core. Let me go back to that site again. Possibly I didn't copy. Yeah, copy the link folder. I'm going to copy that again. And paste it here, zip. Binary output can mess up your terminal. Use dash outputs to tell, or only equal to output it to the terminal anyway. Okay, let's do dash outputs. Wait, the code supposed to work. So I'm going to test another. Let me test another of their websites. I'm going to go back, test another website. I'm just going to pick another one. Let's pick this. Then I'm going to go to download, copy the link address, go back to my server and do call then paste this here. Okay, so set game zip warning save to a file. I don't know why it's actually showing this error message. So I will switch to the second option. The second option is to first download it on my system. I'll download it on my system. So I've downloaded it. It's currently in my download folder. And you can see this is it here. I will open it. 1 second. Download. You can see it has downloaded. This is it here. Those curve. Those curve. I'll just change the name to make it easier. I'll just call it coffee. So it's on my download folder. Then the next thing I need to do is to move it from my download folder to my server. The call option would have been nice. I don't know why that is not working, but normally it works. So what I need to do is to do scp-i, then the key. This is just like me copying a file and I want to send it to, so I have, let me demo this. I have my laptop here. I have a file on my laptop. Then I want to send it to my server that is here. So I need to send over the internet. If I want to copy from one folder on the same laptop to another folder on the same laptop, I don't need to do SCP. I just need to do copy, CP. But because I want to copy over the internet, then that is why I need to make it secure. And that's why I'm putting secure copy. Then that is the purpose for the SCP. So for the secure copy, I'm going to do SCP. I need to provide the key pair of the server. And the key pair for the server is training. Let me get the name of the key. Okay, and sorry, this one I'm supposed to do is, yeah, okay. I need to log out, exit from this connect. I need to do this directly on my desktop or on my laptop, not on the server. So that is why I exit from the server. So I need to do secure copy -i, the name of my key. Why I'm doing it on the server? Because the packet, the website was downloaded on my system. So I need to do this copy from my system. So this is secure copy -i training. Then what next? I need to specify the file that I want to copy. This is me saying I want to copy over the internet. I want it to be interactive. Then I want to use the key of the server because the server where I want to copy to has a key, has a key pair that we create that you must provide before you can connect to the server. And the key is called training key.pem. So that is why you have to provide the key when you are sending file. And this is me sending the key. And then the next thing that you have to provide is the whatever file or folder that you want to send to the server. So this folder I want to send to the server is called coffee because that is the coffee file and it's coffee.zip because that is the zip file. Then after that, I need to provide the username that I'm going to use to connect to this server. The username is user at machine name. The user that we're going to use is called the EC2 user, as the machine name is the IP address of the machine. It's either the IP address or the server domain. And if you go back to our AWS, this one here, you can see if you go under the connect, that is the same thing they are providing you. But instead of using SSH here, instead of using SCP, because this one they want to connect, they are not sending any file. But here we want to send a file. That is why we change it to SCP. And you can still see the -i. And this is the key pair that you must provide if you want to connect to the server. And here, in between the key and the username, we provide a file because we want to send a file also. And then after the file, we are going to provide the username that he wants to use to connect to the server and the machine name. And the machine name can either be the DNS name or the IP address of the server. So in this case, I will be using the IP address of the server. So it's going to be EC2 user at EC2 user at the IP address. Let me get the IP address of the server. You have to use the public IP address because we are connecting over the internet. Then once we connect to the server, we also have to specify where do we want to put this file once we connect. Where do we want to put it? Where I want to put this file, for now, let's put it on our home folder. So I'm going to do TDA home. That is to say, I'm putting this on my home folder. So if you go to the server, let me open another tab and use this to connect to the server. I want to quickly show you something. I'm going to do cd download, then SSH-I, or let me see, I can just do up, no, SSH-I. This is, so now I have two tabs. This is the first one. This is the one that we are working on. I have not sent the file. And this is the second one. You can connect to your server in multiple ways at the same time. So the reason why I'm also connecting here is just to show you, I want to show you on that desktop, on the server, there is nothing now. So by the time we send the file, then you can now see that, okay, from nothing, then we're going to be having this zip file. So this is the first one. I'm going to connect to the server. Let me just copy all of these things because this is exactly the same thing I need. Yeah, so I have SSH-I, the name of my key, and this one I'm connecting with SSH, so I don't need to put a file there. The name of my key, the EC2 user, and then the IP address. So if I connect, I'll say yes. So this one should connect me directly. So you can see I've connected. Once you see something like this, that means you have connected. So if I clear the screen, if I do ls, you can see it's showing me nothing, that there is nothing here. If I do ls will list whatever is in your home folder. It's not showing anything. So if I go back to where I want to send the file from, and if I now press enter for this command, you can see it doesn't show anything. It just brings out the coffee. And that thing that it has sent a coffee zip file to my server. So if I go back to my server and do ls again, you see the coffee folder, the coffee zip file is now on my server. So the other thing I want to do, now working on my server, I've moved the folder directly to my server. The command that I was actually testing the other time, which is call, then the name of the address, supposed to have downloaded it. I don't know why it's not downloaded. I've checked that later. So what I need to do now, there is another package I need to download because this is our server. Let me show you. This is our server here. This server is not doing anything. So you can run a lot of things on this server. And one of the things that you can use this server for is to run your web application or your website. But you can't just put this this file on this server and think that it's going to work directly. It needs some other dependency. It needs some other software for it to be able to work. So the software that can make a server to work as a web server is that you need to download a web server software. And the web server software that we need here, one of them is Apache 2. And that depends on which web server or operating system you are using. But because we are using an Amazon Linux tool, which is a family of Red Hat, the way we are going to specify this, the package we are going to download for our web server is HTTPD. If you are using Ubuntu, then you download Apache 2. But because we are using Amazon Linux 2, we are downloading this. So to download that on your site, and this will be downloaded in a folder called var folder. Because on your laptop, let's come to think of it, on your laptop, you have a lot of folders. So in order to be well organized, you need to like put a specific thing inside a particular folder. So if you want to see all the folders that you have here, you can do ls/ and look at it. You're like, oh, these are the system folders. So all of these folders, just like the folder you have on your laptop. And it depends on what you need, will determine inside of this folder that thing will be located. You can also create your own folder. If you want to create your own folder, just do mkdir, but you have to put sudo now because this is a system administrator. So you have to say I'm working as an administrator, or or what's it called? You are like, if you want to create a folder when you are not an administrator, it will deny you. If you see, if I don't put that and I just say create folder, let me just call it my folder. Okay, it actually created this. Yeah, that's actually created. Wait, let me check pwd. Okay, the reason why it was created successfully is because I'm inside my home directory. This is not Linux class. You can watch my Linux class. I already talked about this, but you can see this is where we are checking. This is like the root directory. So if I try to create a folder there and say / my folder, it's going to deny my action. You can see permission denied because I'm not an administrator. It's only an administrator that can work with all of these folders. So, but I can still actually create a folder here. That's why I'm not an administrator. What I just need to do, I just need to attach sudo to my user name, and that's provided if I'm a sudo member. So now it's not showing me any permission error. So if I do ls, you can see, no, ls/, you can see my folder is among the folder that is there. This is the folder. So why do I bring you here? Is that the software that we want to download, the HTTP software, HTTPD software that we want to download, we must download it inside this var folder. We must download it inside this var folder for it to be able to use as web server. So what we want to do now, if we want to download that, I can open this var folder and show you something in there. And the way to open that, var folder is to do ls/var. And it's going to show you these are the package inside that var folder. So if you want to open a web server inside this folder, we need another folder called www, because that's World Wide Web, inside this var folder. So at the end of the day, it's going to look like, the hierarchy will look like var/var, /www. And inside this www, there will be another folder called HTTP. So the folder or the files that the developer has created for us, we have to put the folders, the file inside this folder. So then when we put it here, that is when anybody that wants to view our website can actually view the website. But this is just like a deep dive of what is actually happening behind the scene, just for you to know, so that you just don't just create anything or just deploy and you don't know how we got to just deploying server. So for us to deploy or to download the web server, we just do sudo yum install. Then the server is, the what we want to download is called httpd. Sudo yum install httpd. So if we do that, it's going to start download. Let me put -y. It's going to download everything, the dependency for the httpd. Now it has finished downloading. I'm going to clear the screen. Now let's go back to this file /var. Look at it now. We have the www there. Before it wasn't there, and now we have it. If you go inside the www, just put / then www, you're going to see, okay, HTML, sorry.
I'll call you back. Just give me 2 minutes.
Please, if you are not talking to the class, can you mute yourself? So sorry, initially I said this one was HTTP, and it's not HTTP, it's HTML. So inside the HTML, that is where we want to put the software, the website that the developer has developed for us. So how do we put the file here? Remember, if you do ls, this is the file. And the file that we downloaded for our Coffee's website. But the file, the folder is zip. We need to unzip it first before we put all the folder here. So this is what is happening behind the scene, or what I'm trying to explain to you. This is your laptop, and this is the web server. From your laptop, from the internet, let's say this is the internet, you download this package on your system. And now, from your system, you send this package to your server with the help of HTTPS. Now, this package is somewhere on our server, but we need to know where it is. The overall on your server, all the storage for your server, if you want to get to the storage from your server, you are going to get to this folder. This is the main folder. It's a giant folder. And if you want the name of this folder, if you want to specify the name of this folder, it's called /. So that is why if you are going to any folder on Linux-based system, you have to put /, because that is like the parent folder. And inside this parent folder, there are some other folder, and one of them is called the var. Another one is called the bin. Another one is called bin, sbin. Another one is called etc. Another one is called nt. So they have different functions, or they are meant for different purpose. For example, if you want to see all the users that can log into this system, you are going to see them under this folder. But that is not, we are not doing Linux today, but I just want to show you how this folder that we downloaded works. So the folder that we downloaded for our website is going to be inside this var folder. And inside this var folder, there is another folder that when we downloaded the HTTPD, was automatically downloaded, and it's called www. And inside the www, there is HTML. So inside the HTML, that is where we want to put our coffee file. But the coffee, you don't want to put all the, because copy is a folder. You don't want to put the folder inside. You don't want to put the whole folder. You just want to put all the file. So any folder inside this coffee, you have to put them inside this HTML. For example, we're going to have index.html. You're going to have maybe homepage.html and so on. So now, how are we going to move this coffee folder inside this place? Remember, from the internet, we're able to move the coffee folder on our local laptop. And with the help of SCP, we've moved it to inside the system. But where it is currently, it is inside a folder called home. So another one that we have here is called home. And under this home, all the users that you have on your system, they are going to have a specific folder. So the EC2 will own this, another person will own this, and things like that. So the folder we have currently is here. This is where the coffee is. So we need to move it from here to here. So how do we do that? Well, the way to move it is by just writing a command called move the coffee folder. Okay, currently let's unzip this coffee folder. We need to unzip it before we move it. So to unzip, just do unzip, because currently it is zip, so we need to unzip it. So do unzip coffee coffee.zip. So it's going to download, and if you clear the screen now and just do ls, you can see it has unzipped it. But now that it's unzipped it, it's now giving us this new folder that, okay, after I unzip it, the new file are here. So now we don't need this unzip again because it has been unzipped, and all the folders and files that are inside this copy has been put here. So this is the file now that we need to move to our HTML. Because these two files are the same, this is HTML folder, and the two folders are the same. This is HTML folder, and this is HTML folder. So it's actually make our move easy. So what we just need to do, move the HTML folder inside the home directory, inside the root directory. Inside that root directory, there is a folder called var, and inside that var, there is a folder called www. So we're just going to replace this HTML that was inside this www with this new one, and we are done. So, but remember, if you just try to move like this, it's going to deny the permission. We have to put sudo in front. So now it doesn't give us any issue. But if you clear the screen, and let's clear all our, okay, before we clear all our jargons, let's see. If you now go to that file, ls/var/www/html, you see, these are all the folder that the developer created for you, for your website. You can see we have about us, we have blog, we have coffee.html, contact.html, we have CSS, we have image, and we have index. So this is what the developer writes. These are all the files that he wrote his code in. So now we've moved our code to where it should be. And now if you want to see this website, all you just need to do, let me clean this. All you just need to do is to copy the public IP address and put it in a browser. Then press enter. I'm saying something here. There's something that we're supposed to do. So if you go back to the terminal, when we downloaded the HTTPD, when we downloaded it, because it's a software, we need to start it. Because by default, it's always offline. Just like you downloaded an application, the application will not run automatically. You need to run it. So we need to start the HTTPD for it to start working. So if you want to check whether it is on or not, you can just do system CTL status. You want to check the status of HTTPD. And you can see it said it's currently inactive, it's dead. So for it being inactive means it's not going to work. So for us to make it to start working, we need to do the same command, but instead of status, just put start. That means we want to start it. Say this system log details. Okay, don't worry, that's not a problem. Let's see status again. Systemctd start HTTPD. Okay, I see why this is not working. There is another command we can run, service HTTPD start. That one is not working. Wait, let me check what's the operating system that I'm using. I think that's why the first command tool was not working. This one here, back. Yes, I'm using Amazon Linux. Yeah, I'm using Amazon Linux 2, so I shouldn't have that problem. Okay. Let me see. System CTL status. Yeah, since status work, the start's also supposed to work. Fail to start system HTTP object program kit was not provided by any service file. So the way to check this is what's called troubleshooting. Actually, I don't want us to troubleshoot in this class, but if you want to troubleshoot, just copy the error message. And we can actually check out this on Google. I'll just paste it here. Somebody might have the same issue before, so they're going to provide us the likely solution. I'm going to use pray to start this. See this. Say reboot the machine. So I don't want all those complex. The best option is to go to Stack Overflow. Let me see if I get anything here. Now this is like the same error message. Unfortunately, we don't have solution on Stack Overflow. So let me check another. Let me check this. We just say just reboot. Wait to execute the command. Let me check. Go back to this. Yeah, this should work. Okay. Mm, Okay. Let me just do how to start on HTTPD on Amazon Linux 2. Oh, I'm supposed to put sudo. Okay, let me check. Possibly that is the error that's why it's not starting, because here I didn't put sudo. So let me just attach sudo to it. There is it. There is it. It's because I didn't put sudo. That's why it doesn't start it. So if we now do status, and you can now see now it's active now. So you can see because of the sudo, it's not starting it. So if you go back here and put in the password again, or just restart or right click again, then this should start working now. It's still not unable to connect. Let me see. Well, that's that. I don't think we should have any problem in that regard. Let me see. Come on. I'm going to copy this. Let me go to my browser here, press enter. I don't know why it is not working on Mozilla. Here is Mozilla, it's not working. Okay, because I put HTTPS. Let me remove this. Let me just type in the IP address straight. Yeah, it works. Because we didn't configure HTTPS, so that's why it wasn't work. So now we have our website on our server. So anybody that is accessing this website now, they are accessing it from your own server and not where we copy the website from, not from here. You can see exactly the same thing, but they use a domain name and they have all of this. You go here, 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 and here. If you can do, we can do exactly the same thing from our own server. You see, say page not found, yeah, because we don't have coffee, then we have the blog. So this is how to deploy our web server. So now you know how to deploy a web server on your own machine, on your own EC2 machine. So let's quickly jump in. Okay, this is the command that I can also run to. I can send you this command, but here, this is the SCP, how we move the file. You run sudo, you install HTTPD on zip and corp. But we don't need corp since we downloaded the file. Then we do sudo systemctl start, sudo systemctl enabled. The reason why we don't run enable because we're going to terminate the server. But if it's a working server that you're going to need for your on the website in a real life, you might want to run this command systemctl sudo systemctl enable HTTPD. What that simply means is that, or what it's going to do is that if you turn off this server here, this server, if you turn it off, maybe you stop it, and if you now start it later, then you are going to need to run systemctl start again. Anytime you turn off the server, it's going to go inactive. The HTTPD will go inactive. So you have to keep on starting it. But if you don't want to keep on starting it, you just want, like, anytime you off or on the server, it will start running again automatically. So that is why you can put in you can configure the enabled so that it will enable it. You don't have to do start all the time by yourself again. All right. That is, oh, time has gone. That's troubleshooting. If you are troubleshooting, time goes so fast. So now we have our web server running on the cloud. So you can terminate this if you're not going to use it again, because so that you don't want to get charged. But I will just let's clean this screen. So this is our server. You can stop it. If you are done, then terminate it. Otherwise, you can just leave it to be running. Maybe you just want to keep testing other things. So I'm going to stop the video here. Thank you guys for watching this deployment section.